Hello, my name is Randall Meek. I'm with the Philippines Project, and today I want to talk about what are my requirements for leaving the Philippines. Uh, so, most of you know I probably left, by the time you watch this, I've left the Philippines already. But I had to do some checking into, what are my requirements because I've been at that airport desk before and not been able to go because I didn't really pay close enough attention. And this day and time, with everything going on with COVID and all the restrictions and all that, I know most of it's gone, but you don't want to show up at that desk and not be able to fly. So here's the requirements for me, and this is based on my experience. This is kind of how I do my informational videos. I'm not going to do a comprehensive recap of all travel requirements to come in and out of the Philippines because there's other people that do that, but I can tell you and I can share with you my experience on what happened to me and as I looked up the requirements, what they were. So this is it. First of all, my wife is a dual citizen of the United States and the Philippines. She has a she has an expired Philippines passport, and so, but they say hang on to that, and she's still good to go. She got her American passport. She can come anytime she wants. It proves she's a Filipino, but she has the old Filipino passport, and we may get that renewed while we're here this time. Myself, I'm an American citizen, and I've got an American passport. So, what are the rules? Uh, First of all, for my wife, she's a dual citizen. She's got to have her passport to leave the Philippines. And of course, you say, of course. Well, number one, you got to have a passport. And, you know, one thing they do, and this will come up later, when you come into the Philippines, when you're like me, you're what's called a balik bayan. Look it up, balik bayan visa holder. That means I'm married to a Filipina. She's a citizen of the country, and so I'm married to her, so I get special immigration and visa perks because I'm married to her. Okay, and that helps the Filipinos that marry abroad and come back. That way, it's not such a sticky situation just to come back and visit family. It's called a Balik Bayan visa. That's what I've got. I've got my American passport. But when you come in the country, like we came in the country in November of last year, when I came in, I showed them the passport. They look it all over. They look at me. They take the picture, and then they put a stamp there on what time I came in to the country. And I have got a year free visa. I don't have to leave the Philippines. I can stay there. I'm good to go. I don't have to go to immigration to get it reissued unless I stay longer than a year. Now, if I leave before that year is up, and a lot of people know this, I get it, but you might not know it. If you leave before that stamp in your passport when you entered a year later, as long as you don't let a year transpire, you're good to go. You can just leave. Now, that's but you got to leave within a year. Now, that's going to affect a couple of things. Uh, Secondly, and I'll get to that later. Secondly, you have to do what's called the e-travel form, and that's an online form that you can do. And I'll put a link in the description in the video about the e-travel form that you've got to fill out. We've still got to fill those out. Uh, I don't remember what it used to be called, evacs, what something like that, but it's called the e-travel form. It's a Philippine-based website. Just type in e-travel. If it's got you know .ph, it's an e-travel form. There's no fee for doing this. It takes about 5 minutes to fill it out, and you're on your way. Can be a little bit tricky your first time, guys. I'll give you a tip: just let your wife do it. You're going to get frustrated sometimes. I've done it. I've done it successfully. It took me several times, but that's just me. Maybe I'm slow. I don't know. But I let her start doing it. I have no problems. Okay, so you do both of us have to do the uh, e-travel online form, and you have to do that. I think it's don't quote me. It's 24 to 48 hours. It's pretty close, and I'll put that on the screen before you leave. You can't do it 3 months before you leave. You got to do it pretty close to your departure time when you depart the Philippines. You got to have that ready. You got to have your 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 passport. She's got to have her passport as well. Uh, when I go back through, and sorry for the little delay, when I go back through and I show them that passport, they're going to see that transfer stamp. They're going to see that stamp of what time I came into the U.S. And then, they're going to say, okay, it's okay, you left before a year. Okay. Um, if you've been in the Philippines less than a year, you're just free to go. You're just free to go. If you wait, if you wait and you're balik bayan and you wait over a year and you haven't talked to the Bureau of Immigration since you've been to the Philippines, first of all, shame on you. And I also know sometimes these things happen. So I would definitely go to the Bureau of Immigration before my Balik Bayan would expire. If I'm going to let it expire, if I'm going to stay longer than a year in the Philippines, but you can visit you can visit the Immigration Bureau if you're coming up on your year's anniversary. You don't know if you're going to make it or not. You can visit the Bureau of Immigration. Uh, so just go to the Bureau of Immigration if you have any questions about that. If you're less than 1 year, you're good to go. If uh, if you stay over a year, you're going to have to get what's called a clearance certificate before you can leave the country. And that's just a little immigration thing, and you can do it at the airport. I wouldn't do it at the airport. I'd get it all done so I didn't have to go through that hassle because you never know. You may have, you may have to switch planes, whatever. There's always something happens at the airport, and the simpler you can make it when you're traveling, and the more planning you can do ahead of time, the better off you're going to be. But you're going to have to pay if you're over a year. You're going to have to pay uh, that airport tax or whatever you want to call it, that immigration tax when you leave the Philippines. By the same token, even though she's a Philippine citizen and an American citizen, if she stays over a year and she's going to exit the country, she's going to have to pay that airport tax. But before, you're not going to have to do that. So, I hope that answers your question. You're going to need a passport. You're going to need, a valid ID, government ID. I would have your Vax card. I would have that. I carry it if I'm going any major travel. Take your Vax card. Take your passport. Do your e-travel form. Your e-travel form online, and that way you need that e-travel form exiting and entering the Philippines. So we left the Philippines. I'm in the U.S. right now. We left for about 4 months. We're going to be back in November. We needed to go visit grandkids. We need to visit my children, and we have a small motorhome here in the U.S. that we like to run around in. But we're also thinking about selling it. We'll either remodel it or we'll sell it. We don't know which. I'm going to have some video about that. I've already made some video about that. But we need to sell it or we need to decide to keep it. Whatever we need to do. We dearly love it in the Philippines. That's why I made the channel, because it's one of my passions is the Philippines. But we need to take care, of some things here, some business related items. I needed to file for my Social Security, which I've already done, and that was a super easy process. I recommend you do it online. If you're in the U.S., you can do it in the Philippines online too. I know you can get it done there. So I've already done that. I haven't started getting paid yet till September. That's a couple months away. Uh, we need to make a plan on what we're going to do with our properties. I've got 2 commercial properties, one of which we live on the commercial property, and we have a business operating out of our front building, and that provides rent to help pay the payments and stuff like that. And then I've got another next door. I've got another set of storage units uh, and a bigger building that I lease to a guy who's got a business in there. So sometimes when you get in the Philippines, you get busy. It's kind of hard to have business over here, and you're trying to do everything that you're trying to do in the Philippines, and you got family, and you want to go on vacations, and you want to see the sights, and just all the stuff you got to do. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, with business here in the U.S. So another thing, I need to get my mail situation. I'm not going back to the Philippines until I get my mail situation straightened out. And if you're getting ready to leave getting ready to leave for the Philippines from America, what are you going to do with your mail? And I need to do a whole video on that. And when I get mine sorted out, and I know what I'm talking about, I'll do a video on that. I've got a couple of vehicles here. We need to decide what to do with them. And the way it looks right now, we're going to keep our properties. Just going to try to get a little more organized, get a little more systems in place to take care of everything as they come up while we're gone. Um, we just need to figure out a good life plan for living part-time here and part-time in the Philippines. And you're probably going to be in a similar situation. So, most people just don't pick up and move everything. Some people do, and that's a big step, but hey, it'd be a lot simpler if I just had to worry about what was going on in the Philippines, but it's just not going to be that way for me. We have to figure out a good life plan that suits us for our travel back and forth between here and the Philippines. So, and you need to think about that too if you're gonna go over there and you're gonna retire there. So yeah, those are the things that we're going to have to take care of, and that's just my life. That's my life as a pretty full-time slash part-time expat in the Philippines. These are things you have to figure out. So I appreciate your time. If you're getting ready to go, I'd like you to put down in the comments where you're from. If you're watching from the United States or you're watching from the Philippines, just go down and put, if you're from LA, Tuscumbia, Alabama, put it put it down there. I don't know. I'd like to know where you're from. I know about 45% of my viewers are from the United States. 20 something are from the Philippines, and there's some Canada mixed in there. One of my best guys, subscribers, is in Canada, and just they're scattered all over. And I appreciate all of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, what's stopping you from subscribing? If you're going to retire to the Philippines, or you just want to visit, or you just want to find out more information, go down right now and subscribe to my channel. Just go in the bottom right hand corner of your screen and go ahead and subscribe. Smash the like button, and it'll help the algorithm to push this video around, and I'll get more views. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Appreciate it, and happy travels.